What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are finally here with the final injury report of the week for the Lions and for the Rams. Man, I'm just so pumped for this game. Like, the beginning of the week, I was like, okay, yeah, I was just kind of, just our game kind of phase. As we've been working through this week, and now here we are to Friday, and I'm working on my preview for this game. It's going to drop soon. This video probably comes out first because it's taking a little while, but I'm working on it, and I'm just getting excited. I'm just getting excited for this matchup, the feel of this game, the 4 o'clock start. I know it's a weird thing to be excited about, but I'm excited for this game. And today we have the final injury report, plus a couple notes from each side. So let's get it started.
Way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Welcome everybody to our video. Glad you guys are here, and make sure you check out the preview that I put out. It's probably going to come out after this video because I made a little a preview, like a 2-minute preview that I'm throwing in there. A preview to the preview. Hold up. That's messed up. By the way, I know you guys might not be able to see me right now because I got the camouflage shirt, but it's gray. Is that really Is that the worst joke ever? Like, I feel like this is a discussion that can be had. Like, if you make a joke about you're wearing camouflage so people can't see you, is that the worst joke ever? I feel like it's bad. It's not good. Overused, trying too hard. Who would use that? We're going to dive into this injury report, and we got some big news from each side, but, there's not a lot going on with the Rams injury front, I'm going to be honest. We do got a couple notes from Sean McVay, but from the Lions side, we got some notes. We got some notes with some of these IR guys, with Taylor Decker, with Tyrell Williams. I mean, there's a lot to roll through. So I'm going to start off with the Lions. Yesterday, we did not get to look at the Rams side. We do have one update that I'll throw out when we get to that, but there's really not a lot you missed there, okay? So let's start off with our Lions first. Take a look at this side of the injury report. Taysom Kabinda, the fullback, he was limited once again today. Back-to-back days of practice, just in limited fashion for the Lions, but he has been listed as questionable for this game. Same thing with TJ Hockenson. He has been limited the last 2 days of practice. He missed his 3rd straight Wednesday practice, but he is also questionable, and I believe Hockenson will go, and I think Kabinda will also go. It's good to see that they went from no participation to limited for back-to-back days. That's usually a good sign. So I'm feeling pretty good about their availability. But again, like Anthony Lynn said, for the guys that miss some time of practice, we may try to put a little bit less on their plate. But a guy like Hockenson, there's always a lot on his plate. So can you really do that? Nick Williams, we got some big improvement here. Starting off the week with no participation. Now he's back with full participation, and he's been listed as in for this game. That's great news. That's really good news for the Lions here. So yesterday, I felt like it was a very positive day on the injury report. We had a lot of improvements. And again, Nick Williams improves, and now he's full. No question. He's going to be playing in Sunday's game. This D-line is getting healthy, and I think, you'll see my preview, I think that's going to be the positional group of the game to watch, the defensive line for the Lions. You see what we're doing? Oh, hold up. Is this Tetris? That ain't Tetris. Roblox? Stop. Brockers, who has also been listed as in for this game with full participation. You knew Michael Brockers was playing this week. Like Michael Brockers was playing against his former team this week. If he's not hyped up, I don't know who's hyped up. He was going to play this week. They miss him because he was an impactful player, and they could use him right now because him and Aaron Donald were nasty together. But Brockers is full participation. He's going to be good to go dealing with that shoulder injury. So great news there. Trey Flowers listed as questionable for this game. He's practiced the last 2. Actually, he's practiced every day this week, just in limited fashion. So he has been listed as questionable, but he's practiced all week long, just in limited fashion. So I'd actually say it's good news. He didn't miss any days this week. So I think that's good news for Trey Flowers. Charles Harris, full participation. He's good to go for this weekend. And he started off the list day to day. It was like, okay, that's a little bit concerning when Dan Campbell brought up the injury. But he has been improving, and now he's at full participation. He's going to be good to go in this game. So the Lions, some of the troops are coming back. Will Harris, he's going to play. The first time we saw him in the injury report this year. He's going to play, though. A note that I would make with this is that if we see more D. Marlowe this week, we've seen him get mixed in. I know Anthony Lynn brought this up, but it probably works for the whole team, maybe taking a little bit less on their plate, or maybe that doesn't affect the defense. We'll see. With the rib injury, he was full today. And finally, DeAndre Swift, who has been limited all week. For the last few weeks, he's been limited. He's once again questionable. But again, I would say there's just a lot of good news going on here. When I look at this injury report, I think we got a lot of good news. The biggest one to me is Taylor Decker. We've talked about it many times. And unfortunately, we got kind of an unfortunate update today from Dan Campbell, who says, I don't think he'll be out there on Sunday. So it kind of muted when he said it, but he does not believe that Taylor Decker will be playing this weekend. So, yeah, obviously that's a tough loss, especially against this defensive front with Leonard. I mean, we're going to get into it, but it's a nasty pass rush that they have. And we got to be able to run the ball this week. So not having Taylor Decker really does stink. But, oh, stop, I made that right. Still trying to figure out that whole cast situation. According to Campbell, Taylor really wants to play, but they just don't feel like, man, he's at that spot right now where they can have him start. And Campbell said that where he needs to be in terms of physically to be ready to go. It's mentally playing with the finger injury, playing through it. So apparently he wants to play, but they're probably not going to play him in this Sunday's game. So I think that's a big loss for the Lions. Not really lost because we haven't had him, but I was really hoping we have him this week. I don't know if you want to call this encouraging news with Tyrell Williams, because just a couple weeks ago, I thought that Tyrell, when he came back, he'd be ready to go. But that was not the case. And Tyrell Williams continues to be out. And according to Dan Campbell, he'll probably be out past the bye week, which is this week, next week in Philadelphia, then it's the bye week. So it's not a long time, but he doesn't think they'll get Tyrell back before the bye week, which, yeah, that's not good news. That is our number one receiver, our most expensive receiver that we brought in this offseason, and we've only really seen him for a half of football against San Francisco. We need this guy back. I mean, these two guys are big pieces for this offense. Frank Ragnow's out for the year, but those are big pieces, especially the receiver unit who needs some help. And the Lions right now, they're kind of working through some options. We're going to see a lot more Tyrell Allison, it sounds like, this weekend. Dan Campbell does say that he's not a doctor, but he believes we'll be able to get him back before the season ends. So at some point this year, it sounds like we may see him, but not before the bye week, which, okay, I guess you could look at that as encouraging news. Now, he also talked about Deshaun Hand and Kevin Strong. And Hand, I think he was talking about Hand. He didn't clarify, but this sounds like a really good update. He said this: Deshaun Hand, who was working through individual drills yesterday, may get some team reps today. So work through some team drills. That doesn't mean he's returning this weekend. He won't. But he's returning to team drills already. That's great. And it sounds like we may get Hand back this season. That's all I'm hoping for with Hand, is that we can get this guy back. Now, I do want to throw this note in there, is that according to Dan Campbell, he believes that they will have the bye week. So it's not just like the normal 21 days with Taylor Decker. They'll have this week, next week, and the bye week on to the next Tuesday to make the decision to bring him back. So they get like an extra week because of how the schedule falls when he returned, according to Dan Campbell. So I don't know if that's completely true, but that's what Dan said, so I'll roll with it. So we do have a little bit more time to make a decision on a guy like that. Deshaun Hand, this is fantastic news. I just want to see him on the field. I don't care when. I just want to see him on the field. I feel for this dude. I want to see him out there. I hate seeing this guy injured all the time. It stinks. And plus, you don't really know the future of Hand if he can't get on the field. But he also talked about Kevin Strong, saying he's closer than Deshaun Hand is. He's also been returning. He's also been at practice much longer than Deshaun Hand. I think a full extra week than Hand. Like, he's on the same timeline that Taylor Decker is right now. He thinks he's closer. He didn't say he'd play this weekend. But again, I don't know if we really need him. I just really want to see Deshaun Hand back on the field. But the good thing is some guys are getting healthy. It's some bad update there on Taylor Decker, but I guess it's encouraging maybe on Tyrell. Let me know. Is that encouraging news for Tyrell? Campbell did say that there will be some new guys getting an opportunity this week. He didn't go into specifics on who those guys will be. I'm trying to think about it, and I was like, okay, Tyrell Allison, of course, he's going to be one of those guys going to get some more opportunities this week. I don't know who else he's talking about. I got to think he's talking about the offensive side of the ball. I doubt that Matt Nelson is not starting this week. I mean, he said earlier in this week that Matt Nelson was going to be rolling at tackle. So I don't know what positions he's talking about there. Hawk, to me, is still going to get his snaps, right? I mean, the running back position, do they get Jamar Jefferson involved? I would love that. So yes, do it, Lions. If you want to do it, then let's do it. Didn't consider taking Jared Goff out of alignment. So I don't know exactly who he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about the defense side of the ball. I don't know who it is. I guess just kind of wait and see who get those opportunities. But he did say that a few guys would get some shots this week. When he says shots, that means you're going to get to play. So good luck to whoever those guys are. Make a great first impression. And Campbell did say that this week of practice has been different. We talked about how they were going to kind of do things a little bit differently. They would put on pads on Wednesday. And he also said that they changed up how they're doing practice. Now they're having guys come in, walk through at the beginning with their street clothes, not getting into pads. See, what they did in training camp is they would get into pads, they go out there, walk through, and then they'd come back and then they'd stretch and then they'd practice. So it was kind of like, okay, it was kind of weird. So they walked through plays, then they would stretch, and then they would practice. But Dan Campbell said they're changing it up now. Now they're going out in their street clothes, walking through as soon as they get there. And that makes sense. They weren't hitting each other ever. They were just kind of walking around. So you can do this. Let's walk through. But they are walking through in their street clothes, going in to eat and coming back out and practicing. So there's no wait. It's more intense. It's right to the point. So that's what Campbell says. Maybe that's a better way to utilize time management, but also just get right into it. All right, it's not a slow pace. It's attacking each day. So that's how Campbell said that they're doing practice now, which is exciting and hopefully yield some good results. And he said practice has been good this week, specifically for a guy named Jerry Jacobs, who he said he's excited to see play this week because he's been basically a pit bull in practice. He's been aggressive. He's been battling with receivers, and he wants to see how he plays because he's played well the last 2 weeks. He said Aubrey Pleasant has done a great job with Jerry Jacobs. It's different. Cincy and Vikings, Rams are a different story. This is going to be a battle, especially with those receivers. Also, Sean McVay said that's one of his close friends is Aubrey Pleasant. We know there's a lot of, connections there. Michael Brocker, some players, some staff. And Dan Campbell said with that, we're excited. We're excited. I'll leave it at that. We're excited. All right. So he gave you that little smirk like, okay, we about to go. It's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
I'm just pumped for stop pumping me up, Lions. Please be a competitive league. Please be a good, close game. That's all I want. I just want it to be competitive. I cannot watch a Bengals game again. If it's competitive, I'm in. Let's go. If we win, I will lose it. If it's competitive, I will be hyped. Please, Lions, let's make this thing happen. This would be the perfect first win. It's just like when we beat New England. When you beat New England, no one expected you to. You were 0-2, but you beat them. All right, now, unfortunately, we're not 0-2 anymore. We're a little bit worse than that. You see how I tied everything together like that? How we kind of okay? I felt like I was spitting some bars there. Come on, give me a little credit for that. I kind of tried to tie them all together like at a circus. Yeah, Dan Campbell has been doing practice a little bit differently this week. He said Wednesday they went through and it was kind of like a 3-down day. So you got 3 downs, you get a first down, offense versus defense. And he's like, man, they're super competitive. You could offer a peanut and guys are going to go crazy. Thursday was more 3rd down day. And they mixed in some red zone situations as well because on both sides of the ball, they got to be way better. Like, way better. So that would be a spot that I'm like, let's get this right. I mean, this has to be right this week. But anyways, that's what he said about practice. And usually Friday's a little more toned down. According to Sean McVay, his practice is a little bit less intense on Friday. I don't know what the Lions was like. I don't know if they were doing the Oklahoma drill on Friday, but I'm guessing it was a little toned down. Anyway, let's take a look at the Rams side of the injury report. So, as you can see, you do have some updates from Thursday and Wednesday, but this is the final one. There's really not a lot of craziness going on here. Whitworth is going to play. He rested the first day. That's it. It's the only reason he's on here. Tyrell Williams, same thing. Their outside linebacker will play. Michel, he's questionable, and he said he would be limited in practice today. That's what Sean McVay said, but he's listed as that. But he should be fine. He talked to Michel before practice. He feels good. So Michel is going to play this week. He said he'd just be listed as limited. Maybe he gets a little bit less snaps, but he's not really the number 1 running back. So, I think that's normal to be the number 2. So Michel should be full go like we expect there with this shoulder injury that popped up a little bit earlier in the week. Actually, this started on the first day, right, where he did not participate. But now he's here. And even back to Wednesday, they said that he would play this weekend. So that's held true. New addition is Brian Allen. He came up last night. We missed this. Their starting center with an illness. Sean McVay called it a stomach bug. But he returned to practice. Full participation today. Kind of reminds me of the Jamal situation last week. He's good to go for this week. And finally, Deshaun Jackson, D-Jack. At first, I looked at this and I was like, hold up. Did we just get a D-Jack implant? Nah, he playing. He didn't participate today. They gave him rest on Friday. He did it on purpose. You said, man, we got no injuries. We got to put him on here on Friday. Johnny who hit IR, he said that they have a couple options. Bryson Hopkins could be one because he's got a little bit more experience. They got a lot of options for their number 2 tight end. But the number 1 we know is Tyler Higbee. But yeah, that's their injury report. Now, a couple notes from Sean McVay today. He said he was asked about the motion offense that they run. We know the background with Rudin and the background that he has there and why he does so much of the motion offense. So we know all about this, especially when we looked at Jared Goff, and that continues. We'll see it in the preview. But he did say, there's an intent behind his motions. It's not just to look cool. All right. Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. The motions do kind of look cool. Like if you're ever playing Madden and you run a manual motion, you could just be like, dang, I'm so cool. This is for something. I'm reading your coverage right now. Reality, you're not doing anything. You are just messing up your route combinations. And once you get them over there, you're like, oh snap, now I gotta move him back. So you and I both know you're messing up the play. But it's about that 3 seconds of coolness where the other guy is like, dang, he's motioning a player. Something's up. I'm just saying. I respect it. I do. He said, he doesn't have all good ideas when he comes up with them. A lot of times he's on a lot of coffee. So he may come up with something that he's like, dang, this is genius. And then they run it. It's like, this is not genius. So that's what he talked about motion. Talk about the connections for both sides, Goff, the coaching staff, the staff that we have in the front office specifically. I think the advantage is tilted toward the Rams here because they have McVay. They have the offense coordinator that work with Goff. I think they're going to know Goff's weaknesses. We do have some players that played against Matthew, so hopefully they can make some plays against him. Playing against him in practice. I would slightly tip the scales towards the Rams because, they worked with Aubrey Pleasant, so they know what he's trying to help us implement in the back end. But then, of course, Aubrey Pleasant worked with McVay. So the crossover is going to be wild to hear. Whistle blows at that point. It's just going to turn into kind of a normal game. And he said, usually I come out late, so there won't be anything crazy to take note of between the conversation of him and Jared Goff. It'll probably be like, hey, how you doing? All right, that's pretty cool. I'm sure it'll be a headline out of that. Guarantee it. There'll be some weird pictures. All right, someone will Photoshop like a mad face Deontay. We know the cornerback that stepped up to a big role, kind of took David Long's job last week, and he played well. Very small cornerback, but he said, look, he's naturally, he's just a naturally funny guy. He's very charismatic. He's a good player. For charismatic. Hold up, did I just say that? Come on. We on a good roll today. Charismatic. He said expect him to see a bigger role. And yeah, we kind of expected it after last week when he played kind of well and Long wasn't playing well. So they have some young corners. We'll also talk about that in the preview. But that is really the final injury report for this game. I'm going to try to get this out first. Stay tuned for the preview. It'll probably be, I don't know when it'll come out tonight. I really can't tell you. I'm almost done with editing it now, but I want to drop this first because this is like news. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up here. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you Sunday. Make sure you tune in. We're going to be live for the game. And I'm out.